Legal Solutions, we give you peace of mind.
Rebel FM, it's your Grillaz with Scotty and Clegg. It's the weekend, favourite time of the week. This studio is certainly hotting up, Scotty. Some might say it's sizzling. We've got the supremely talented Renee Gracie. Renee, thank you so much for joining us.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in.
Absolute pleasure. There's so much we've got to talk about. We've literally. Are you all right, Scotty? By the way,
Please go ahead. Just go ahead. Keep rambling, mate. Keep rambling.
Keep going. I want to take you back. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. I watched Fireproof, the documentary, and I'm not just saying this. One of my favourite documentaries that I've ever seen.
Thank
Absolutely
you.
Incredible. I'm going to take you back right to the beginning. When you went out go-karting, you kicked your dad's ass, and then he said, "Look, I really want to get," you put the picture of the go-kart you wanted on the screen, so you hinted to him. What was it like going into that really, I suppose, male-dominated environment when you were such a young girl?
Thankfully, I was so naive, I had no idea for at least the first year or two. It didn't really click on. I will say there were some things in the beginning, but just being so young, like 13, not understanding how the world works, I didn't really know what was happening, right? I just thought that, I didn't know what that person was talking about, or it didn't make sense, and I just brushed it off.
Yeah.
So I think very early on I was naive to what was happening. It wasn't until I started to get 16, 17, 18 years old where I was like, oh, wow, like these guys really don't like women in this field right now. Like I'm really up against it at the moment. So I would say I'm very lucky in that aspect that to start, the passion and the drive was so strong that nothing else mattered, and it wasn't until eventually it just became too hard to escape the guys treating me poorly and bullying me, and the dad's yelling at me at the go-kart track, and dad's trying to punch on with my dad, and I was like, hang on a second, like your son's the one that's got the problem. Like if he's got a problem, tell him to come to me. Like just get away from my dad. If you haven't seen my dad, he's the smallest man in the world. He could pass as a jockey. So it's one of those.
The part I did love about that too, as your dad said in the documentary, is like, all I know how to do is put the petrol in.
Yeah, and he failed to do that sometimes too, let's be fair. I'd run out of fuel a few times too. But it was, I'm very grateful that I started quite young, I will say that. And I think that then developed the foundation to obviously having the passion and loving it so much that I didn't give a shit who said what, or I didn't care about how they treated me, because I had established the love and the passion for it so early on.
Yeah. You remind me, I used to manage professional darts players in England.
Oh, wow.
And I actually discovered a young girl called Bo Greaves when she was 10 years old. So I produced a TV series about darts, and all these blokes came on thinking they were the next Phil Taylor of darts. And then this little girl came on and absolutely blitzed them all. 10 years later, she's now by far and away the best female darts player in the world. She beats all the men. We used to take her in pubs to play against the blokes. Obviously, her parents would come as well, and they'd be like, what, 10-year-old girl? And then she'd just kick that. It was just beautiful.
The best thing
see.
ever, yeah.
Absolutely. But does it surprise you, like the animosity that you get, like as a fit? For us, we talked about this, and we're like, it's absolutely amazing. Why wouldn't you want a woman coming into your sport and competing against you?
It's incredible. Like it's equal opportunity for everyone.
Absolutely.
Everyone have a go.
Absolutely. Does it offend you now? I suppose does it? Yeah, you answer the question, because I've got lots to say on this.
I am baffled by it and confused by it, and I don't quite understand the whole process on why it's one of those sports too, where motorsport, I feel like, is one of those that has like this shadow ban against women. I feel like I look at rugby, like girls can have their own division and it's so totally okay. Yeah. I just feel like motorsport has this like umbrella over it that it's the men just protect it so much, and this is ours, this is our only thing that we've got left, like leave it alone. And I just don't understand why. To be fair, being a female, I only see it from my side, but I think having women around is a lot better. When I was younger and it was just men, and I will say credit to this because it's also helped me a lot too. The way men work when it's just men is out of control. Like when you put men only in a space, there are no rules. There's no organisation. You can't sort stuff out. Like we would go.
I agree totally.
It's crazy. Like no offence, but I just feel like having a female influence is good for everything. The way we look at things, the way we handle things, even just having women signing boys on in the morning at the go-kart track, having them in the canteen. And, I've been at go-kart tracks where there was only the dads in the canteen and, you'd give them a $50 note and you'd get no change back and you'd be like, excuse me. And it was just... I feel like woman influence is a great thing no matter where you are or what sport you do.
Well, I love that too, but it doesn't have to be restrictive just to the lady just to do the sign on in the morning or in the canteen. Why can't more women get involved in the mechanical side of things and work there too?
Yeah, they are, and I think that's what you've hit the nail on the head. That I think a lot of sports are having their own female leagues, etc. But with darts and with car racing and jockeys now, obviously female jockeys, such a huge thing. They're as
some
good
of the best in the world.
The best in the world,
Yep.
exactly. And Renee's one of the best drivers in the world. And that's it, isn't it? It's that inferiority complex that they can't stand it, that someone's coming in for the opposite sex and teaching them how to do what they think is theirs.
I know, and it's so strange because male or female, it's... I take criticism and, I listen to my engineers who are men who tell me how to drive better. I listen to a female and have the equal amount of respect. And I think that's just my path and my upbringing and being in my shoes, obviously being a female. I don't think anybody knows more or less depending on their gender. I find that line being drawn is just the strangest thing in the whole entire world. Yeah. I think there's somebody who's an expert at something. It's not determined by their sex and what gender they are. I think it's determined by if they love what they do and what gives them the right to have that much experience to tell people what to do. That's it. And I think it's funny because I see it from both ends, and I do giggle and I do laugh because I also see women in the sports and stuff a lot more now and in roles. And I do think when I see a female on the screen in Formula One who's an engineer, I'm like, oh, I wonder how they handle her. Like, I wonder if she gets taken seriously, or I wonder how that interaction first went when she, got that role, or I wonder what she does to make these boys listen to her, because it's a real thing, unfortunately. And I hope that I can stop thinking like that one day in the future, but somehow I don't think I ever will, just because of my upbringing and all the trauma that I've been through. But it's something that it's slowly changing. But I do think motorsport is a very harsh sport for gender roles, for sure.
What advice would you give to a young girl to get into the racing or any male-dominated sport?
I do get asked this a lot, and I feel like I always no, it's a good question, but I feel like it's really difficult because I do have so many things that have, I want to say traumatized me, but have swayed my opinions and feelings and beliefs on things in motorsport, unfortunately. But if I had one thing, and I always default to it, is just don't let anybody tell you what to do. Like if you want it badly enough, and if it's your passion, if you think about it, if you dream about it, if it's your driving force, if it lights your fire, if you just feel it, and if it's your passion, just do it. And if someone tells you no, you just say, well,
I'm a dad of girls, and I always encourage them, just do it. Anything you want to do, get out there.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter what you're going for. Strive as high as you want to go, and you'll get there if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I loved what you said in the documentary about supercars. Fuck supercars. We can sell that.
you can.
Bathurst.
That's why you got a lawyer.
Bathurst, Chris Hanna, I'll give you a call there. Bathurst, obviously, amazing, Bathurst 1000, but for me, and it's incredible achievement, but it doesn't define you. When you watch that documentary, you realise you're much more than just racing at Bathurst, I mean, still amazing. But tell us about your driving now, because you're still conquering, you're still smashing everyone, aren't you?
Yeah, so my return back to motorsport in 2023 has been nothing but amazing these last couple of years. I still pinch myself that I've come back and I'm doing it, and I'm still doing it. I think for so long I thought I initially hated motorsport, and then, all the stuff that I went through, and then it sort of came to this recognition that I actually loved the sport, just the external factors which determined my feelings and beliefs on the sport, which I didn't want to allow to happen. And the second I've changed that and had a support system that supports me, and I've got rid of all that negativity and the external stuff that ultimately led me to leave the sport in the beginning, it's been nothing but great. And I am so proud that I proved to myself and also others who hopefully will watch my story that sometimes there's so much more to it. You can love something, you can want something so badly, but if you don't have the right environment, if you're not treated fairly and properly, unfortunately it means that you're failing and you're not going to succeed. And I think coming back this time round, I've won a championship my first year back. Last year was a bit of a tough year. This year I'm currently leading the championship and third year in and stacking up the trophies in the office, which is great.
How good. I mean, the irony of supercars, I just love it. I mean, they wanted you as that pin-up girl. They loved it at the time. You didn't get any remuneration for it. You found yourself out of there, and then you were like, what am I going to do now? And in the second part of the show, we're going to talk to Renee about OnlyFans, because OnlyFans, they're all over your car.
I want to hear about the pussy wagon story.
We can talk about that. We're certainly going to talk about pussy wagon. But look, everybody listen to some great rock music songs. We'll be back later in the show, and Renee's kindly agreed to stick around with us. Rebel FM, it's almost the end of the show, but as we said, Renee Gracie's kindly agreed to stick around with Scotty and I, and we touched on OnlyFans, didn't we? And we've obviously talked a little bit about supercars. So tell us about your relationship with OnlyFans then, Renee.
Yeah, so once I stood away from motorsport and I didn't have a plan B. Plan A was my only plan, was to be a racing car driver. When that all failed, I was broke. I had no money. Even when I was racing, I was living in Melbourne at the time, pursuing my career in motorsport, which had all of a sudden failed. And I moved back home.
Eating baked beans.
Yeah, literally tins of tuna. Yeah. I was getting like 24 packs of sausages and just having like one sausage for dinner on bread. Like, it was crazy. I had no money. And when I say no money, I'm like negative $50, wasn't turning the lights on in my apartment, like all sorts of stuff, crazy things. Moved back home, started living with Dad, and I was like, I need $500, $50. Like, I just need something to start to get in front. Like, I'm so broke. I'm zero. I was so far behind because I had dedicated so many years to motorsport. I hadn't done anything else outside of that. I hadn't grown or developed myself anywhere else. And I had nothing. And I thought, I could really do with a couple $100 right now. So I had a girlfriend who was on OnlyFans, and I had so many fans and followers messaging me saying, I'd pay to see this bikini pic on OnlyFans, or, they'd be commenting on my stuff. And I'm like, what is this OnlyFans thing? Yeah. Like, if people are saying that they're going to pay me, hello, like, well, I got to do it. Yeah. And I did some research, and I spoke to someone who I knew who had one. And within 24 hours, I thought, you know what? I'm going to make one. So I made one and uploaded a few bikini photos. And
was it nervous?
No, I wasn't nervous. I was so broke. I needed the money. I wasn't scared at all.
Money talks, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was like, I need something right now. So, and I wasn't in the mindset of no one's going to subscribe. I might just get 2 or 3 of these guys who are commenting to subscribe and to send me some money, and I'll send them some photos. That was where my mind was at. I had no intention to do anything else, and I had no intention to get past that week to make, a couple $100 because I needed to pay bills and I needed to start saving money. So I was so short-sighted on the whole thing and not realizing that so many people wanted to see more. Within like the first 24 hours, I know, not even that. I think it was like the first 6 hours I made $24,000 US. And
wow.
Yeah, it was a couple of days later, I was up to $80,000 US, and I was like, holy crap, this is insane.
I loved it as well with your dad's reaction. She's like, look, what are you going to explain to me? What are you doing? Was that really awkward at the time? Because your dad, he's such a cool guy. We were saying,
that's right.
We were saying earlier this morning that he's just kind of on board, isn't he? He's just like, yeah, why not? You're becoming a millionaire through posing for some pictures, essentially, or doing a few other things. But is it awkward that with your dad, or is it kind of just?
Not really. We had a rocky relationship, and that was covered in the documentary.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know about that. I didn't speak to him for like 2 years. Like, didn't speak to him at all. And then I started talking to him when I needed to move back home and I needed some money.
That's a daughter thing.
That's a daughter thing.
We've all done that.
Yeah, no, guilty. He's fine now. Don't worry. He gets looked after now. It's all worked its way around. But it was we sort of always had a very serious like business relationship. Like it was through motorsport, through go-karting. It was everything was ultra competitive, ultra serious. It was always a business relationship, if anything. And not that that's a bad thing. That might sound bad, but it was really good. It made me passionate. He made me driven and motivated. And if something happened, especially in the younger years when I was young and getting picked on, he would be like, well, you know, you didn't hit him back.
Yeah.
You know, if he smacks you and puts damage on your go-kart, go do it twice as hard to him, you know? Like he was that driving force of that aggression and that push. So when I came to him saying, look, I've started this thing and I've got all this money sitting in my wallet and I don't know if it's real. and I did this thing and I'm just selling photos in a bikini. And I'm like, look, it's the same photo that I put on Instagram. Yeah. So it was already out there. So it wasn't really anything to be embarrassed or ashamed about. But then when it was like the big money started rolling in, when I was like 6 figures a month, and I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. Yeah. Again, I knew that it was like a business conversation and a serious conversation that I was going to have with him. So it was kind of like, hey, look, I'm starting to post more risky photos, but people are paying the money. Here's the proof. I've got to sort this out. What do I do? So everything else was irrelevant. He didn't care about what I was posting, what I was doing, nothing else. It was a matter of make sure this is your one and only shot to set yourself up for life and don't stuff it up, essentially. So that's always been the conversations. It's never really been anything deeper other than when the money really started to roll and he was like, are you sure that's what you're doing? And I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm doing a little bit more.
Just don't look at it. Please don't look at it.
Yeah, but he can put the pieces of the puzzle together. And weirdly enough, something that not a lot of people know, my dad used to own a sex shop back in the day with
well, he's all over it. He knows.
So he gets it. He had one with a dungeon downstairs and all sorts of stuff.
Wow.
So he knows the game. He knows sex sells. So
the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Isn't it funny how it works, right? It's so funny. I remember it's crazy. I remember going in there as a kid every now and then when Dad had to go pick up things and drop stuff off and Mum was in there and I just didn't even realise that what it was at the time. And then all these years come around and who knows and who would have thought that I would have been in a similar industry.
We're just going to go back a little bit, though. The Pussy Wagon. It's a great name. Great name. What's the story behind it? And is there any merch or anything you can give? Have you trademarked it?
Oh, I tried. I feel like people still talk about it. God, how many years has it been now? So I was in a team with 5 other cars when I did my first year, and we were obviously running around, Simona and I, in the Harvey Norman Supergirls was our sort of name that we had been given. But internal banter between obviously so many other boys, it had started to become a bit of a name in the truck, and everyone was sort of calling us the Pussy Wagon, and it was all lighthearted and very funny, and there were so many of us. It was kind of like I thought it was quite cool to have the nickname, and we kept it internal, and it was a bit of banter. And Dave got interviewed. I think he was 3rd for qualifying, and they go to a press conference, and someone asked them like, "How do you think about the girls and your teammates?" And he's like, oh, what, the Pussy Wagon? Just as a bit of a joke. It erupted and I didn't realise. So I was actually also doing press and I was super, super busy that day because that was a Saturday. So weren't on track on Saturday. So it was a press day. So every hour was media, live crosses, TV, like a full day, 7-8 hours of doing media. And I had been away, like not on my phone. I had no idea what was happening in the outside world, right? It was Bathurst and Bathurst only. And I had a tap on my shoulder from my manager saying, look, something's happened. It involves you. We're going to have to make a public or we're waiting for a public apology and we're going to have to make an announcement and we're going to have to make a public statement. And I'm like, for what? And I'm like, what on earth has happened? And they showed me the video of the recording. And I'm like, oh, is that what it's all about? Is Dave saying that? And they're like, yeah. And I've gone, oh, okay. And they're like, we have to do this, we have to do that. And I was like, why are we feeding into this? Just ignore it. I didn't have the assumption, and maybe because we obviously had that personal connection with him. And knowing what the Pussy Wagon is too, I feel like if you sort of know what it is, I never once thought ever that it was a sexist remark.
No, that's right.
I didn't think it was derogatory. I have been sworn at and told way worse names than the Pussy Wagon in my motorsport career, let me tell you. I actually thought that it was a compliment. Yeah. I thought it fitted us great and I thought it was a great thing. The yellow and the pink of the Pussy Wagon, I thought it was fun and I thought it was great. I thought it was amazing. And I just never understood why it took off and why it was twisted into be such a crazy thing. And years later, up until even the documentary came out last year, I would say 6 or 7 years later, for whatever reason, people still thought that Dave and I had like this mad beef. They thought that we hated each other because he called me the pussy wagon. We were friends. We got along great. I went up to him in the truck and I'm like, oh man, like I'm so sorry. And he's like, oh, it's all right. I'll just pay the fine. And like we just joked about it, you know, but I was devastated for him because I got him in trouble for no reason. Luckily, he's the kind of guy that doesn't really care that much and he sees the fun and the good in everything. But it was just one of those things that it put me in an awful position through no fault of my own other than just existing and being there. And it was a really frustrating thing to go through. But my favourite thing was the next day afterwards. I remember when at the start of the race, the formation, like we went up the top and there was people who had written on bed sheets in spray paint and it said Pussy Wagon established 2016 or 15 or whatever year it was. And there was guys holding up the bed sheets and that's when I was like, this is just the coolest thing in the world.
Good.
Well, there's some merch there for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So just before we wrap it up, Renee, we've talked about supercars. Is there a way back, do you think? Is that a plan for you to get back into supercars? Are you kind of drawn a line under that? You're not even interested anymore?
I've kind of drawn the line. The GT3 stuff that I'm doing at the moment is amazing. It's global as well, which is really exciting. So obviously people watch from all around the world. We're sort of a part of a bigger picture. We're not just based in Australia only. People from other countries obviously get the category and we drive cool cars. We've got Ferraris, Porsches. I'm in an Audi R8. It's just really cool. They're all loud. They're all chaotic.
Any chance of Scotty and I coming in the Audi R8?
We don't have a passenger seat, unfortunately. But you can
glad.
watch.
We can come and watch. We'll come and watch.
You can come and watch for sure.
Yes,
but I definitely am at the point now where I absolutely love where I am and I've got the respect that I deserve and I've got the treatment that I deserve. And when I say that, I just mean just equal. Like nothing special, but other than just I'm a normal competitor.
Yep.
No one cares about me, my sponsor. I just fit straight in and no one is bothered by it, which is amazing. And I'm grateful that they allowed OnlyFans and they've had me in and it's just been such smooth sailing. It wouldn't be like that if I went anywhere else, I don't think, and I just can't imagine supercars being okay with it, to be fair. And I sort of don't want to give them the credibility. I don't want to give them the time of day. They treated me poorly, and even when I got back racing, we were on the supercars calendar for the first year. I got no TV time. I got no recognition. You didn't even know that I was there. And that's just a reflection of them. Like, they're still doing it up until as recent as 2023. So for me, that door is closed, absolutely, and I will advise everybody to switch to watching GT3 racing instead.
Well, they had the opportunity.
Yeah.
In the first place. So they could have been all over this and not been
Yeah.
so maybe sexist. I don't know what you call it. But
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
They-
they had the opportunity in the first place.
They've blown it up themselves. It's blown up in their face to a great. I mean, what you've done since with it is just fantastic. And supercars, they must be embarrassed. I think they must be completely embarrassed, but they've continued on their stupid patriarchal route that they've always been on. It's pretty ridiculous. Any of our listeners, Renee, obviously they want to check out your OnlyFans. Where do they need to go for it?
OnlyFans, search bar, Renee Gracie. You're the first one that
simple as
comes
that.
up. Simple as that. And then
Perfect.
subscribe.
I would love to keep talking because there's one more thing I want to ask.
Go on.
I asked you before about girls getting into motorsports and there. People getting into OnlyFans, is it an easy option? How do they go about it? Can they do it? Is it competitive? What should they do?
Do you want to go in?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, my number one advice is that there's something for everybody. That's my number one thing that I've learnt and discovered over the years. There is absolutely someone loves something and you would not believe what that something is, let me tell you. I'll give you that much advice. But a lot of people think it's oversaturated and it's done its dash, but that's absolutely not the case. I mean, OnlyFans is $1 billion industry and company. The sex industry is the oldest industry in the book, and I believe that OnlyFans is a great platform for as hard as you work, the result will be yielded. If you want to earn a lot of money, work hard at it and you will earn a lot of money. If you want to do $1,000 a month, you don't have to work as hard. It can be a little side quest. You can do it. A lot of people think that the guys can't do it, but men absolutely can do it and they can do very well at it, as females can too. Yeah, it's a great platform. It's a great industry, and obviously it's made such an impact on the world. So anybody who thinks that it's not, there's nothing in it, has no idea how powerful it is.
You're spot on. And the sex industry always used to be underground, dangerous, and now it's there, and you don't have to do it. You don't have to look at it. You don't have to go onto OnlyFans. But if it's there, it's safe, and it's lucrative, isn't it? I mean, it's you can make a lot of money from it.
I think growing up around men all the time too, my whole entire life. When you're with a group of guys and when you're with men all the time, the industry is commonly spoken about. I remember, all the boys when I used to do working at driving events and stuff, they'd be off to the strippers and they'd be going to the strip clubs and they'd be talking about the girls that they're seeing. And if you're in a comfortable space with the right people, it's obviously something that's commonly spoken about. You do speak about it. It's just to the wider variety, it's a bit taboo. But for me, it's kind of like I've always been somewhere where it's never been taboo. It's always been an open book and you're always talking about the things that you talk about. I mean, the conversations I used to have with some of the boys is just, you think it's not inappropriate, but it's just all having fun, lighthearted, and it's not being taboo to talk about. Yeah. And I think we all know what I'm talking about when you have those conversations. Definitely. They're fun and you talk about things and it's a good environment. And I've grown up like that, and I've also been in an industry where, they've sold me as a bit of a sex symbol as well. So it's so crazy how the industry that I'm in now has aligned with everything that's happened in my life, but not from an overly sexualized place or anything like that. It's just something that is so common, and we all dabble in it. We're all involved in it. It's just this wider belief that it's taboo, when if you have the belief that it's not taboo and it can be something that's quite empowering, you'll do well.
Well, the world's evolving, so everyone's got to catch up and keep going with that momentum.
Absolutely. Oh, I could talk to you forever. I really could.
Because I want to know about the boxing.
Yeah, well,
yes.
Look, what I thought, we'll talk briefly about that, but I reckon in a few weeks, if Renee's happy, we might get her back in and we'll have another chat, because I think the listeners certainly want it. But yeah, this boxing match, what was she playing at? Seriously.
Not boxing.
No, absolutely. And is that something that you're thinking maybe a side career, or, are you going to go into that seriously, do you think?
I love boxing. I've enjoyed every second of it. I deep down kind of had an inkling that I was going to like it, which is why I took the opportunity to do it. I feel like I have been in trouble for punching people every now and then, not that I condone it, but back in the go-karting days.
We don't condone violence.
No, I've been roughed up a little bit, and I've done some roughing up before, right? Yeah. It's just been the environment that I've been in, and I have been in that space, unfortunately. So it's something that I've thought, I am confident, I'm strong, I'm not scared to back down or, to put myself in those sort of positions if I have to. But to do it properly and actually learn, I think would be great. And it turned out to be amazing. My fitness went through the roof. It helped my racing, my motorsport as well. It's very similar to motorsport. It's crazy. It's very technical. You have to plan your moves. You have to think about everything. You have to be fast but slow. Don't overreact. Don't underreact. It's very similar, and I've just been obsessed with it ever since. So, I would love to do more. It's very difficult to balance, obviously, with motorsport, and I do have to remember that's sort of like my main thing, and it's a little side passion project that I'm doing at the moment, which is just keeping up the boxing and keeping fit. And I think there might be another fight on the cards if the opportunity arises. I won't say no.
Well, there you go. There's no passenger seats in the GT OnlyFans car, but there may be an opportunity for the Rebel Boys to be Tail Boys at the next boxing match.
Yeah,
well, there you go.
There you go.
Perfect.
Water boys.
I love it.
We'll be back next week, same time, same place. But Renee Gracie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.